So you've seen the importance of asking questions. You'll want to ask yourself the following questions during this development phase. Thinking about and reflecting on these questions will make your story richer, fuller, more complex, and powerful. And yes, I will say powerful a lot in this course because stories truly are exactly that. So, these questions are great questions to ask yourself, even in seemingly mundane stories. You may be surprised at what you uncover. So, let's dive right in with the questions. First, what's your story's message? What is it that you want to convey to the listener? What do you want them to walk away with after hearing your story? Do you want to give a message of hope, encouragement, love, humility, faith in times of crisis, perseverance, peace in the storm? Next, what is the theme of your story? This is very similar to the message of your story. The answer to this question will help you stay on track when crafting the story. It will help you stay on message without bringing in irrelevant events and details that will bog down your story. While working on the story you heard at the beginning, I started it in 1989. Yeah, I was beginning to tell my life story, and it added about 5 minutes of unnecessary detail that made the story drag. So I cut it because it was delaying getting to the point and risked diluting the message. One story is not big enough to contain our life story. Life stories contain multiple themes that will muddy the message and will contain too much information for a listener to process. So we must focus on one theme, on one moment in time, and tell about it in necessary detail. The next question to ask yourself is, what's the aha moment of your story? The aha moment is the moment you experience the change, when you experience the transformation, revelation, or realization. This is not to say it's a literal moment because rarely does change occur at one exact moment in time. Usually, change happens over a period of time after we've processed our experience and we've been able to look back on it and reflect on it. But there was a moment you became aware of a change. That's the moment I'm talking about. That moment is the story. Now, what were your hopes and your fears and your dreams? What did you stand to lose or gain? What was at stake? Including your hopes, fears, and dreams and the stakes will connect you to the listener. The listener will become invested in the outcome of the story because they will be able to put themselves in your shoes and walk alongside you, cheering for you, hoping that things will work out for you, while they'll also be wondering how they would have handled the situation if they were in your shoes. The next question, how about your thoughts? Did you have any that stood out as you were living your story? Anything perhaps that you realized through the course of the events? Write them down, even if they seem irrelevant right now. These thoughts are the reflections in the story, something that should be included to make your story compelling. I'll address this in an upcoming video. And lastly, what's the backstory? Are there any events and experiences in your past that tie into your story? Perhaps any background information we, the listener, need for the story to make sense to us? Give us the details we need to know. Don't leave any obvious loose ends. Seems like a lot of questions to answer, right? Don't worry. It will pay off soon. So spend some time answering these questions before moving on to the next phase, which is the crafting phase. You've done a lot of hard work up to this point. You've spent time reflecting on your experience and how it's shaped you. You've honed in on one moment in time and you have a theme in mind. In the next section, we start giving shape to your story.